in terms of, let me shift gears one more time, and then I'll let you get back to this beautiful Sunday morning you've got in the background. It's a beautiful scene there. In terms of the role of media, independent media, national media, all sorts of progressive media, what should we do? What's our contribution? How do we help that move? And the reason I ask that is because I got this really long letter from a follower and a supporter who essentially said that he appreciated, my voice and my opinion and my positions, but, I'm not the one out there on the ground actually mobilizing. So I shouldn't really talk as though I, pushing people to go mobilize and make them feel guilty, or not that I actually make them feel guilty, but this is what he felt. Essentially, we're preaching it, but we're not doing it. What do you feel the role is as those of us who are out here promulgating the progressive message, trying to get people mobilized in light of the fact that sometimes we're not the ones who can actually go out there and do it?
Well, like I said, there's 100 different or 1,000 different ways to be an activist. You can be an activist just by, aggressively posting on your Facebook page. You can be an activist by going to drinking liberally. You can be an activist by being a talk show host. You can be an activist. You can start. In fact, there's a couple that have popped up largely as a result of the Bernie campaign. A couple of YouTube stars, who are doing activism via YouTube. Yeah. How is that any less important or consequential than going door to door and signing people up to vote? It's like, what did Jesus say? The birds have their nests in the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the quote, but you know what I'm talking about. We all have our roles to play.
The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his
to rest his head.
Yeah,
right.
Something like that. Yes.
Right. But I don't want to compare us to Jesus or anything like that. But the point is that that sounds to me like sour grapes or jealousy or something. It just doesn't sound like a rational argument to say, gee, if you're not doing the work, you shouldn't be suggesting that other people do it. What? Come on.
That's what I thought. I mean, I didn't really give any credence to what he said. I just, I kind of heard it. But then I thought about the fact that, the role that we have as media voices, it can be extremely influential. And just so, as we get ready to wrap this up, just some closing thoughts in terms of that role and what you see. What's the need? Where should we be going as progressive voices to help solve some of the problems we've talked about this morning?
I think the principal job that I see for myself, frankly, and for progressive media as a whole, is to inform, educate, activate, to give people a public square where they can hold conversation, to provoke conversation, discussion, and hopefully change. It's like, keep doing what you're doing, man. That's my message, and it's
absolutely.
And you don't have to be, you don't have to be a union member to promote unions.
Right.
I'm not black, but I support Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I'm not a woman, but I support women's rights. This idea of, we're waiting for the perfect. So in fact, in our conversation here, we've gone from people complaining that they're waiting for the perfect politician to now people complaining that they're waiting for the perfect talk show host. It's like, get off your butt and get out there and get active.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's funny because actually, and I'll let you get the last word on everything today, but it's funny because I remember why I started this. I remember why I started my show because of Ferguson and the fact that I physically couldn't go there. I couldn't go there and be a part of it as much as I wanted to. And actually, this goes all the way back to 2010. I physically could not go to Occupy Wall Street because of family. And because if I left home and didn't work, I couldn't, if, my wife would leave me and I'd have nothing. And so I had a conversation with some friends. I'm like, what can we do right from where we are to affect change? Because all of us want to be there, but most of us can't be there. And from that conversation, particularly after Ferguson, came the Benjamin Dixon Show, because it became my way of contributing to this national conversation, even though I couldn't physically be in places. So I really appreciate the sentiment that you're sharing this.
Yeah, we all have our own unique skills or talents. You know, for some people it's writing a check. For some people they have great people skills. They can you know, or some people have great public speaking skills. They can be out there and be at the front of movements. Some people are quiet organizers. They like to do the work in the back room. God bless them. You know, it's a kind of brain wiring that I don't have, and I'm envious of. I mean, it's like, but we all should figure out what our role is in all this, and then embrace it as aggressively and enthusiastically as we can, because these are not inconsequential times. This is an inflection moment in the history of the human race that literally could, if we handle this wrong, could lead to the demise of the human race. Yeah. And I'm speaking specifically of global warming, but you could apply that to nuclear winter probably just as easily. And you know, these are serious times.
Thom Hartmann of the Thom Hartmann program, thank you so much for sharing some time this morning. I'll let you get back to your boat and to all the beautiful things I see in the background. I know everyone in my audience knows how to get up with you and where to find you, but it's just customary on my show. Would you please tell everyone how they can get up with you and where they can find your program?
Oh, ThomHartmann.com. However you spell it will get you there. And you know, all the information's there. So, awesome. And thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. It's been an honor, pleasure to be with you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.